Israel's backers keep whining that they're losing control of the narrative. Amnesty International is now calling Israel's mass atrocity in Gaza a live-streamed genocide due to the way this nightmare is unfolding right in front of us on the screens of our devices around the world, and public support for Israel is plummeting in the United States. Zionists are losing control of the narrative, and they know it, and they are not taking it well. During a speech at a summit hosted by the Jewish News Syndicate earlier this week, former U.S. Senator Norm Coleman said that Jews are the masters of the universe and should use their power in Silicon Valley to control online information in order to win a digital war. Coleman, who is Jewish, made the following remarks on Monday, quote, "A majority of Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel, and my friends, I think the reason for that is we're losing the digital war. They're getting their information from TikTok, and we're losing that war. And when you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. We've got Altman at OpenAI. We've got Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. We've got Google founder Sergey Brin. We've got a group across the board. Jan Koum, founded WhatsApp. It's us. And we have to figure out a way to win the digital battle. We've got to get our digital sneakers on so that the truth can prevail over the lies. And when we do that, the future of Israel will be stronger because a majority of all Americans will support Israel. We'll make that happen. We have to make it happen." End quote. Now, if any anti-Zionist with a public profile had said Jews control Silicon Valley and use it to influence public opinion for the benefit of Israel, they'd be forcefully denounced by the entire Western political media class as a rabid anti-Semite. But a Jewish politician saying Jews must use their control over Silicon Valley to influence public opinion about Israel receives no attention from that same political media class. Interestingly, at that same event, Meta's Jewish diaspora chief, Jordana Cutler, noted that Meta platforms like Facebook and Instagram, quote, banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media. Under Cutler's own guidelines, the prior comments from her fellow attendee would have been banned if he'd said them on Facebook instead of at the Jewish News Syndicate International Policy Summit. Israel's backers have been whining about losing control of the narrative for months. In February, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham told the press at an event in Tel Aviv that in the Arab world, Israel has won the war on the ground, but they've lost it on television, lamenting that all they see is morning, noon, and night attacks on the Palestinian people. The Arab world is seeing attacks on the Palestinian people morning, noon, and night because that's what's happening. That is what the entire world is seeing. In a talk at the McCain Institute last year, then Senator Mitt Romney told then Secretary of State Antony Blinken that Congress supports banning TikTok because it shares information that turns people's opinions against Israel, saying such information has a very, very challenging effect on the narrative. After bemoaning Israel's lack of success at PR regarding its Gaza assault, Romney just came right out and admitted that this was, quote, why there was such overwhelming support for us to shut down potentially TikTok or other entities of that nature, with us meaning himself and his fellow lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Blinken responded, "How this narrative has evolved, yes, it's a great question." Blinken said that at the beginning of his career in Washington, everyone was getting their information from television and physical newspapers like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post. Now, of course, we are on an intravenous feed of information with new impulses, inputs every millisecond, and of course, the way this has played out on social media has dominated the narrative. And you have a social media ecosystem environment in which context, history, facts get lost, and the emotion, the impact of images dominates. And we can't discount that. But I think it also has a very, 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 very challenging effect on the narrative, end quote. Notice how he said the word narrative 3 times? That's how empire managers talk to each other. because that's how they think about everything. Everything is about narrative control. It doesn't matter what happens, as long as you can control what people think about what happens. During the university protests last year, Palantir CEO Alex Karp came right out and said that if those on the side of the protesters win the debate on this issue, the West will lose the ability to wage wars. Karp said, "We kind of just think that these things that are happening across college campuses especially are like a sideshow. No, they are the show. Because if we lose the intellectual debate, you will not be able to deploy any army in the West ever." End quote. In an audio recording published by the Tehran Times in 2023, Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt is heard saying, "We really have a TikTok problem," and calling for more aggressive online narrative operations to control public opinion about Israel among young people. In the audio recording, whose authenticity was confirmed by the ADL, Greenblatt says the following, quote, "I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling that I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests that this is not a left or right gap, folks. The issue in the United States' support for Israel is not left and right, it is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem, that our community needs to put the same brains that gave us Taglit, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy toward this fast. Because again, we've been chasing this left-right divide. It's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation. And Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying." End quote. Israel's backers are losing control of the narrative because there's only so much that PR spin can do to convince people they're not seeing what's right in front of their eyes. If you're strangling someone right in front of me, there are no words you can say to me to convince me I'm not seeing someone being strangled, no matter how skillful you are at manipulation. Actions speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. A picture is worth 1,000 words. These aphorisms exist for a reason. Past a certain point, there is only so much that mountains of verbiage can accomplish when people are seeing history's first live-streamed genocide playing out right before their eyes. Whoever controls the narrative controls the world. The average human life is dominated by mental stories. So if you can control the stories that they are telling about what's going on, you can control the humans. Losing narrative control is losing real power. That's why Israel's supporters are growing increasingly anxious.